Yes, folks, discrimination isn't a bad thing. In fact, it's quite a healthy thing for any society. Now, after decades of being told by the left that discrimination is bad, many people simply buy into it. But if discrimination is a bad thing, then it follows that indiscrimination must be good. It's now good for people to be indiscriminate. It's now good for people not to care about themselves, care about their safety, care about who they let into the country, etc. That's the message coming from the left, and it's a very dangerous message. The reality is this: if we don't discriminate, we die. But the double-think left don't care about that. They are only interested in power, and they'll even contradict themselves and say anything, do anything to get that power. Have a look.
The government has backflipped on its arranged marriage immigration policy, promising to right the wrong for 1,200 couples who've been kept apart. And as political reporter Jenna Lynch explains, a fix could have been found a lot sooner had the minister actually known about the problem.
The precious first moments of a baby's life, watched by her dad halfway across the world.
Hello, my baby. Love you. Papa love you lot.
Pardeep Dol is yet to meet his little one. She was born last week in India. His wife stuck there because Immigration New Zealand denied her a visa.
Very hard for me because I wasn't there and I didn't see my baby.
Dol was married in January and applied for a visa for his wife in April. She was pregnant. Documents supplied to Newshub show Immigration New Zealand knew the couple was pregnant, but said this does not demonstrate they have established a life together.
Yeah, of course it doesn't.
Quite unfair.
They were victims of a sudden change in policy at Immigration New Zealand, insisting couples must have lived together, making it hard for those in arranged marriages.
So now all immigrants can bring in fake spouses easily just because of one culture. And I always thought our feminists were against arranged marriages and patriarchal stuff like that.
An uproar. Shane Jones declared war.
Bollywood overreaction.
The minister today backflipping.
Returning to what was in place before.
Yeah, do you see what's just happened there? They've backflipped because of one culture, which means they've just discriminated against all other cultures in our so-called multicultural New Zealand. Anyway, now listen to our double-think multiculturalist Louisa Wall when it comes to Muslims and polygamy.
I want to talk about the two principles that I talked about earlier that my bill is founded on: equality and non-discrimination. The equality that I talk about actually is about equality of the relationship. The equality of the relationship that two consenting citizens of our country have. Now, polygamy and the reality of polygamy, it's men with lots of wives. Now, that's not equal, and it's actually a throwback to the position that women have in societies. And there are some societies around the world that allow polygamy, but the reality is it's an abuse of women.
Yes, the Muslim societies, the very people you allow into New Zealand with several wives, the very people you defend. Yeah, now if the Indians can force New Zealand to change immigration policy, then surely the Muslims will be able to force New Zealand to change marriage policy. Have a look.
But look, I understand the call for equality, but in 2004 we changed 150 bits of legislation to bring about equality. Equality is not sameness, and I think we have to understand that marriage was reflecting the relationship between a man and a woman, because only a man and a woman can produce a child. It is discriminatory because nature discriminates. A same-sex couple cannot produce a child. So nature is discriminating.
Exactly.
But a same-sex couple can raise a child as their own.
Well, they can, and they can commit to each other. But once again, the name that was given to that was civil unions. You don't call. I mean, we've tried to give men and women equal rights, but we haven't changed the definition of man to achieve that. We've just created those rights. Same-sex couples have legal recognition as it stands, and we don't need to touch the word marriage to achieve that.
So, Bob, is this about the semantics of what the word marriage actually traditionally means? Because you look it up in most dictionaries, it will say the commitment or the union between a man and a woman. If you start looking at the online definitions, the man and the woman is gradually being dropped to represent the marriage of two people who love and want to commit to each other.
Yeah, well, the fascinating thing is that, of course, in the Marriage Act of 1955, it doesn't actually say a man and a woman. Everybody just knew that, and the Marriage Act actually just put in some, well, you could say discrimination, in Louisa's words, because it actually stops someone marrying a close relative or children marrying, or, for example, I can't marry someone else because
Exactly.
I'm already married. So the Marriage Act already discriminates. But once you change the definition, and this is a question I want to ask Louisa, is once you change the definition once, what stops you changing it again? I mean, if you take away the regulation of gender, why not the regulation of number? I mean, Louisa, when will the amendment be introduced to allow polygamy?
Well, it won't be introduced by me, Bob, and
Why
actually
not,
that's
though?
sort of scaremongering.
No, it's not scaremongering. Why are you discriminating against
Marriage
three
for
people who
me,
want to marry?
marriage for me is about two people loving each other,
What about three,
creating
though?
a family, and being a. That's not my bill, Bob. You find an MP
But you're
to put that
discriminating
bill towards
against
the
three
House.
adults who love
That's
each other
not
and
the
want to commit to
convention
each
of
other.
marriage in our country.
Ah, that's not the convention of marriage in our country. Our country, she said, not the Muslims' country. Double think through and through. Anyway, now back to the first video for something I missed.
Documents supplied to News Hub show Immigration New Zealand knew the couple was pregnant.
Knew the couple was pregnant. Don't you just hate that? The couple was not pregnant. Only the woman was pregnant. But no, these feel-good lefties must lie to make their so-called equality come true. Yes. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. My God, the West has lost its way. You don't see Asian countries buying into this political correctness and multicultural nonsense. They are not so stupid. They know it's dangerous.